afternoon and welcome to the March 19th City of Murfreesboro Historic Zoning Commission meeting. It does appear we have a quorum present, so we will call our meeting to order. First up, do we have any public comments today?
We did not have anybody reach out for public comments.
So no one speaking today. Thank you so much. Next, we should approve our minutes from our last meeting on February 20th. If you all have had an opportunity to review those.
No.
Would ask if there are any corrections, and if not, we'll look for a motion.
I move we approve the minutes from last month.
Ms. Anderson, yes, and Mr. Thompson, first and second. If there's no other discussion, let's see, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. Okay, next up, new business. Ms. Amelia, could you introduce our applicant for today, please?
Certainly. Today's applicant is for 444 East College Street. Bradley Chambers is requesting the review for the construction of a new two-story detached garage with a side covered patio. This property is located on the south side of East College Street, several lots to the west of North Highland Avenue. The original house was constructed in circa 1900 in the vernacular style with a hip-style shingle roof, square plan, decorative cresting, had aluminum siding, and a classical porch. The Historical Zoning Committee approved house renovations and conversion of the dwelling unit from a duplex to a single-family dwelling unit in January of 2022. And if you look at these were the drawings for the house, and you could see the picture of the house as it used to stand, and then the renderings of what was to be built. This is the actual end product of what was built. I have several photos of the house as it stands today. Where the new garage will go is to the rear of the property. Last year, Mr. Chambers purchased extra lot coverage that belonged to a resident on East Main Street so that they would be able to have a larger driveway and also a nice garage. This house is a contributing structure in the North Mania Avenue Historic District of the National Register of Historic Places. The property contains approximately 0.21 acres and is zoned RS8 and is also in the historic zone, of course, and in the CCO overlay. Some of the houses, this is the house to the east, next door to the vicinity, and this is one of the houses to the north. That's the fuel house. And then we have Mr. Thomas Jennings' house directly across the street. The applicant is now requested to construct a two-story, three-car detached garage and a side covered patio. The site plan, as I have it up on your monitors, it does show the existing house. It also shows currently that it has a gravel driveway. That gravel driveway will just be a regular paved concrete driveway. And then there is, as you see, the proposed area for the two-story garage with the shed roof for a patio. The planning department's regulations for detached structures is that it has to be 5 foot from the house, all areas, anything with a covered roof. It has to be 5 feet from the side property line. It has to be 5 feet from the rear property line. This structure does meet those regulations. And then also, you can only have 50% coverage in the city of Murfreesboro. Coverage is classified as anything that is roofed is the covered area. So currently they're showing with this new addition, there would be 42.34% lot coverage on this lot, and they would be allowed to have 50% coverage in the CCO in Murfreesboro. The proposed materials and products that are going to be used in the remodeling of this are going to mimic what was used on the house. As you can see on your monitor again, I am putting up photos of the actual structure, what it should look like upon completion. You do see it is going to mimic the house similarly. There or several of those. Okay. The products that will be used on it is smooth LP smart side engineered wood siding to match the primary structure, a brick base around the base of building of the garage to match the primary structure that matches, they said it would be the exact brick, 4-inch gutters to match the primary structure, a garage roof to be asphalt shingles to match the primary structure. The side covered garage patio roof will be made of metal standing seam roof to match the dormer of the roof of the primary structure. And the garage dormer windows are to match the primary structure dormer windows. Side covered garage patio columns are going to match the front porch columns of the primary structure. These will be handmade, and the product that is shown in your agenda package, that is just for references only. The columns that he did for his home are the ones that are actually handmade that he had made as well. There will be one single-car garage door and one two-car garage door. There will be 3 wall-mounted gas lanterns on the front of the garage, one on both ends of the garage and one in between the 2 garage doors. There will also be 4-inch recessed lights around the soffits of the entire garage structure. The second story of the garage will be for storage only and will not be taller than the primary structure. Pictures of the home as it exists today were in your agenda package, as well as the site plan and product material specifications. And the applicant, Mr. Bradley Chambers, is in attendance today to answer any questions that you all may have for him.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Mr. Chambers, if you could approach the podium and state your name and address for the record, please.
Yep. Brad Chambers, 444 East College.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us today. And thank you, Amelia, for that thorough introduction. Looks like most of the materials you've proposed here are going to match what you've done with the existing structure. And so we'll open this up to our commission. Do we have any questions? Actually, I think it's probably best that we break this into a few parts.
Mm-hmm. One each time, each product.
Okay, each product. So let's start with the siding. That was the first thing that was mentioned. It's a smooth, hardy product, I think she said, and that is to match what's existing on the house right now.
Well, it's a LP smart board, so it'd be wood,
Okay,
not hardy.
okay, thank you for that. Any questions about the siding on the house, the reveal? Mhm.
Just, is the exposure of each board the same as the house?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions? If not,
I make a motion, we approve as submitted.
Mr. Becker first, Mr. Salas second. If no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the siding is approved as submitted. Next up, let's discuss the brick base around the foundation of the garage area. You say that it will match the brick that is there. I'm assuming this brick was all added during your renovations?
Yes, sir.
So you've been able to source the exact same brick again for the garage?
It had the same roll lock on top and everything.
Okay. Do we have any questions?
But on that, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, Mr. Salas is first,
Second.
Mr. Becker second. If no other discussion, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the brick base is approved. Next up is the 4-inch gutters to be used to match, again, the existing house. You have 4-inch gutters currently?
I think it's 6.
Okay, 6. I was going to ask you about that there. So you've proposed 6-inch on the garage structure as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Makes sense. It appears they are black to match the soffit.
Mhm.
Okay. And staff make note that those are going to be 6-inch, yes. Okay, do we have any other questions about the gutters?
Will the downspouts match what's on the house?
Yes, sir, they will.
We've got black downspouts as well. So all gutter product will be black. Okay, no other questions? Do we have a motion for approval of the gutters?
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Davis, Ms. Anderson, first and second. If no other discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No. So that, the gutters are approved as submitted, 6-inch, black. Okay, next up is the asphalt shingle roofing. Again, you've stated that will be the exact product that you've used on the main dwelling structure.
Yes, sir.
That is, I'm assuming, a 30-year product, architectural shingle. Okay. All right. Do we have any questions?
Are we including the shed roof on this motion as well?
I have it separate since it's a metal standing seam.
My only question was I apologize for my poor memory, but I felt like 6 months or 7 months, 8 months, who knows how long ago, we asked an applicant to not do a separate standing seam over the dormer, as it wasn't historical or something to that effect. Where it was shingle on the base of on the roof, but on the dormers and sheds, I felt like it was a standing seam, and we asked them not to do that. Does anybody else recall, or am I just?
Well, as I look in the photograph that's now on at least our monitors here, it's got white metal roof on the dormer and white metal roof on the front porch.
Yeah.
I would want that to match personally. Well, I'd want that. Would have wanted that to be black to match the roof.
On which, the dormer or the porch?
Both. If they're both white, I mean, I just think it's off-putting to have two different color roof coverings. But if that's what it's already been, so I guess my question then would be on the garage, do you plan on doing the black shingle roof and a white metal roof? Mm-hmm. Okay.
Was the front porch, before you, raised the ceiling for the second story, did the front porch already have metal roofing on it?
I can't remember, but with the pitch it had
It's so
shingles.
flat.
Yeah, shingles wouldn't make
I'm sorry?
sense. With the pitch, the front porch has, shingles wouldn't work because it's like a 212 that you need at least a 3.
You can't get a warranty on something that flat, so the metal roof
Oh,
is the
that's
best way to go.
Yeah.
Anything that's that flat either needs to be rolled roofing, which we wouldn't want to see. And it's common to have a front porch roof be metal.
Okay. I just thought I remembered us.
You may be right.
I do believe it was actually Mr. Chambers that conversation took place with, and it was discussed. And then in the end result, it, as he explained that time about the slope of it, it was a reasoning to let him,
I
allow
knew
him
we
to
had
do that.
discussion on it.
It was a discussion on it, Mr.
I
Salas.
just couldn't remember quite what the outcome was. Well, if that's what we voted on before, then I'm more than willing to vote on it the same way.
Okay. Yeah, I don't recall how we voted on that, but I would agree that the 312 is the minimum
Yeah, minimum, absolute
that you
minimum.
can use
Makes sense.
an asphalt shingle, so.
Makes sense.
Okay, all right. If there are no other questions on the metal roofing portion, that will be white to match the existing structure. I would
We're still on the shingle portion though, I think, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh.
rule number 4.
Thank you. I didn't check mark that one. My apologies. We are discussing the asphalt shingle still. So if we don't have any other questions about the asphalt shingle, I would entertain a motion for approval.
Move to approve.
Mr. Thompson first.
Second.
All right, Mr. Davis is second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No opposed. The shingle roof is approved, asphalt shingle roof. Ms. Fulgham, I should probably have been doing, do we still require roll call on every,
Oh, good God, no. Do we?
everyone has been unanimous so far, but,
It is supposed to be a roll call.
yeah, my apologies.
Matthew, leave the room.
We actually, I think we're fine since every other vote has been unanimous. Is that okay with you?
Do we have to go back?
Well, he's the,
Probably.
I would say since the first four have been unanimous, I might recommend to the chair that we do one omnibus ratification vote on items 1 through 4 with a roll call vote. That way we don't have to do 4 separate
Very
roll
good.
call votes.
Fair
Thank
enough.
you.
If he can get a motion to ratify.
That's why they pay you the big bucks.
Exactly.
he should have said
So,
something if he was.
To correct my oversight, could we have a roll call vote on the approval of the first 4 items that we have voted on, which include the siding, the brick base, the 6-inch gutters, and the shingled roof systems?
Do we need to have a motion before we do that?
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, if he could have a motion and a second to ratify.
I make a motion that the first 4 items be reviewed as a group and a roll call vote to do so.
Thank you so much, Mr.
Second.
Thompson. Mr. Davis, thank you. If no other discussion, Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll?
Miss Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Thank you. Pardon my oversight.
No, don't worry about it.
Okay, next item up, Mr. Chambers, is the metal roofing, which we briefly discussed would be a white standing seam metal to match the existing structure. And remind us again what portion of the garage that would be over?
Just the overhang on the covered patio,
Okay, the front,
on the side.
oh, the
Maybe on the
side
side.
of the
Yeah.
garage has the overhang. Okay.
And the dormer.
And the dormer, which is a nice detail to match the house.
Mhm.
Okay. Do we have any discussion or questions further about the metal roofing?
I just can't tell if there's any pitch to the roof of the carport, of the overhang. Is there?
Slightly, yes.
Like, yeah.
Slightly, just slight, okay, because it looks like
Yeah.
flat from,
It's like no more than a foot or two, but
okay.
That's all you need.
yeah. It looks like 1 foot 7 inches of pitch. Okay. If no other questions, do we have a motion?
Move to approve.
Mr. Thompson
Second.
first, Mr. Becker second. If no other discussion, Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll?
Miss Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Okay. The metal roof, as submitted, is approved. Next, we'll move on to the garage doors. You have windows in the front of the garage doors. Remind me, those were to match windows on the front of the house, potentially, or how? What element were you trying to match with that?
The garage doors,
Yes, sir.
just windows at the
No,
top.
we're on dormers.
I'm so sorry. I didn't see the dormers listed separately.
Number 6 is the garage dormer windows.
I don't
Yeah,
have-
so the dormer just the same as the house, but 4 instead of 5 windows.
We did mention the dormer roof along with the metal roofing during that motion, but we didn't touch on the dormer itself. If it's okay, we'll go ahead and do the garage door and come back to the dormer discussion, if that's all right.
Number 8.
And those are wood?
So the illustrations that were in our packet are just for design effect, but not necessarily the wood. I believe they were metal, but we're getting wood, you're getting wood doors?
No. Wait, what are we talking about?
We're talking about, we switched to number 8.
My apologies, I don't have the list as it's written.
Single
I made
garage
it-
door and 2 garage doors.
Yeah, the garage doors were
Talking
what
about
we were
Garage
touching.
doors.
Metal doors.
Those are metal doors.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
I wasn't.
Sorry, we're not really trying to confuse you here.
Yeah, he's good too.
Any questions about the garage doors
Well, to me, I think we've always approved wooden doors,
or a wooden look?
or wooden look, or metal clad in wood.
Yeah.
So this would be a change in our approvals in the past, and it concerns me, I'll say that.
Yeah, it concerns me too. I think we need to be really careful and think this through.
Okay.
You know, wood clad, we've found
approved-
out that
We've
that's.
approved that before.
Uh-huh.
The windows would be the difference in, you said this was metal, correct?
The
He
garage
said it was
doors.
metal garage doors.
Yeah, and it's got a design to it that makes it look wooden.
I can't hear.
I said it's got a design in the metal that resembles wood.
We just tried not to set precedent within the district is the problem, and we have approved wood-clad metal doors, but we haven't approved an all-metal door that's visible to the public. Would you be willing to do wood doors?
I mean, rather not do wood doors.
About a clad product, do you know if there's something available that may be
I'd have to
wooden,
do
with
some,
metal
research.
cladding that has the wooden look to the exterior?
metal door with a wood look, no problem.
Well, a clad, which would,
Wood-clad metal door.
so it technically would be a wooden door with a metal cladding.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, the exterior face would be wood, and whether it's a metal door behind it, I don't think would care.
Okay.
I move to defer on this until he can come back with more information.
Okay? We have a motion to
I
defer.
second that.
Ms.
Do I,
Anderson?
don't I have a brochure of the doors?
There are cut sheets in
Turn on
here
the
that have
overhead.
an asterisk on them, but
Your stamped carriage house
stamped
door.
steel designs is what it says at the very top of the list, that you have the asterisk.
Yeah.
That's what we have to go by.
I don't see anything that says that it contains any wood.
I don't either.
Polyurethane inside of the metal. Yeah, I'm sorry, without more detail, that one's hanging us up a little bit. We do have a motion to defer and a second. Have any other discussion on this? Okay, without further discussion.
I just think we need, I'm glad we're deferring it. I hope that's the motion, because that will give Mr. Chambers time to, get some prices and find out what's affordable and what's not.
Okay. Amelia, may I ask if Mr. Chambers comes forward with a metal clad door and we have no other issues with that door, will he need to come back in front of this commission for approval, design?
If I were to get the actual brochure, I still feel like that's a call that probably needs to come back to you all.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Okay, we have a motion and a second to defer on the garage door, just so we can get some more detail on the design and fabrication of that door. So without any further discussion, Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll on that vote?
Ms. Anderson,
Aye. We're moving to decline.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
What's the motion, excuse me, Ashley, what's the motion again, to defer or decline?
Defer.
Defer. Yeah, he'll have-
That was my motion.
Mr. Salas,
Did he vote? Oh, I'm sorry, it's not, aye, I apologize.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
No.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. All right. That motion carries. We will defer a vote on the garage door at this time. Mr. Thompson, which is the next on your list? I apologize, I don't have that list in front of me.
Number 6, the garage dormer windows.
Okay. Next is our garage dormer windows. Let's discuss the detail on that. We've already discussed the roof over that dormer, but probably most appropriate, we know the siding material, so we need to discuss the windows specifically of that dormer that you've proposed will match the existing structure. Could you let us know the detail of what those windows are going to be made of? A little bit of information about those windows?
To be honest, I have to look back and see exactly what I put on the
Are they
main house.
made of wood, or are they metal or vinyl? Do you recall?
I don't recall, but they should be wood. I had to.
We have a design sheet here in front of us. It looks welded frame and sash. Looks to be a metal window.
Close up.
What are you doing, the blue one? I think the cut sheet that you're referencing is the one for the windows on the garage sides. I don't think that's the dormer window.
Do you recall what the dormer windows are in the main house?
No, sir.
So the brochure we're looking at are the windows that are going to be on the left elevation? Would that be the east elevation?
If I remember, yeah. So I think there's a window on the back and maybe 2 windows on the side.
Are they visible from the,
These were the windows that were replaced, that were approved to be replaced on the sides and the rear of the home. He kept the frames and everything on the front of the home, and he also kept the frames in the actual windows that were existing and put these windows, he was approved for these, something that wasn't facing the road.
okay.
I don't know that the windows in the dormer were actually discussed previously.
Probably such a small item that it just didn't make conversation. But you're saying that the image you had on the screen with the blue background, that was approved for the house?
That was approved for the sides and the rear. He did do wood on the front.
Okay.
Okay.
And what's the exterior of these? Is it vinyl?
No, it's, I think it's welded steel. Well, it's welded, I'm not sure it's steel, it doesn't say.
The window falls under the same sort of requirements as the garage door. We have some sort of clad product, or as long as it's not a vinyl product. I think if you can ensure that it's going to, live up to the same standard as the front of the existing home.
It'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
Are these windows on the garage visible from the street?
This front dormer would be.
Yeah. But not the main structure?
There.
The other windows will be on the sides and the rear.
So they won't be visible. Is that what you're saying, Bill?
Only the dormer would be. Well, some of the side elevations could be visible from the right-of-way.
No more than the ones that are on the house.
Right,
I mean, they're
Right.
further back than what the house is.
yes. So I think the main concern here to meet the standard is the front dormer window, that bank of windows. And as long as that material is clad or wood, that should suffice. You're comfortable with that, Mr. Chambers?
Yes, sir. I matched what's on the existing house.
As far as the front
Dormers.
the front dormers.
Yeah, same window, same size, just 4 instead of 5.
I don't think it necessarily has to be the same size, but just
Mhm.
in the same construction method and general look.
Okay.
Okay. I think if we're clear on that. Do we have any other discussion? Call for a motion for the front dormer windows and the dormer itself, which we've discussed the siding and the roofing already.
Move to approve the dormer windows to match the existing construction of the dormer on the main house.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Thompson. Do we have a second?
Second.
Ms. Anderson? Okay. If no other discussion, Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll?
Miss Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Okay, the dormer is approved. Okay, Mr. Thompson, I'm going to lean on you again. You have the
Number
list.
7, the side covered garage patio columns.
The side columns of the garage
That's the
patio.
Covered patio.
We looked at that covered
Sort of like a
patio.
porch roof on the side of the garage.
So those columns, you're going to build to match the existing columns that are on your front porch now.
Yes, sir.
Have that correct? Yes. What material are those constructed of?
Exterior MDF.
An exterior MDF, waterproof MDF? Okay. Which is technically a wooden product. Okay.
And so they're wood columns.
Yeah.
And they're hollow.
No,
They're not, they're solid?
I mean, there'll be a 6x6 post, and then I'll wrap them.
Okay, that explains it. Thank you.
Any other discussion on the columns for the patio?
No other discussion. I'll make a motion. We approve.
Okay. First from Mr. Salas. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Becker. Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll, please?
Miss Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Okay. The columns on the patio of the garage are approved.
The next item are the gas lanterns on the front of the garage.
Thank you. Okay. Do we have any questions about the gas lanterns that are proposed here on your screen?
As long as these are the same, they are.
Do these
they are,
match?
right?
It's the same product that you have on the front of the house?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. You're going to have 3 of those balanced across the front of the garage.
I move we accept the gas lanterns for the garage
Okay. Ms. Anderson
as
has,
shown.
There's two fixtures on the front porch, 2 that are wall brackets and 2 that appear to be suspended. Can you go back, not so tight up on the front, there you go. Are the ones at the beam of the porch, are those suspended? They have like a little
The
yoke?
2 outside ones are hanging,
Yeah,
and then the
they're
other
free,
2 are like
they're
sconces.
just freestanding like a chandelier, in other words.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are sconces. So are you doing the sconces or the chandeliers?
Sconces.
Okay, just to be sure.
no other questions. We have a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Salas is second. Okay. Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll on the gas lantern vote?
Miss Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Okay, the gas lanterns you've proposed are approved.
The next item are the 4-inch diameter recessed lights to the soffit on all elevations around the garage.
Okay, thank you. Soffit lighting. Once again, I'm assuming do you have some soffit lighting currently in the existing home, and you are, again, trying to match that detail with your garage?
Yes, sir.
They are 4-inch. What type of illumination? Is this an LED product that you're using? Okay. And okay, we see these in the along the soffit on the west side here in the picture. Do we have any other questions from the commission about the soffit lighting?
How many do you anticipate on each elevation of the garage? 4? 2?
4 on each, yeah.
4 on each side?
Yeah.
Do these have rings that are also black to match the
Black.
soffits? Yeah.
The
Okay.
center of them's kind of like a clear white,
Okay. So they
plastic.
blend in really well.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions about this lighting?
Move to approve.
Mr. Thompson as a first. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Becker. Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll on the vote?
Ms. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Okay. Soffit lighting is approved as submitted. That's the end of our list. Okay. Well, it looks like we just need you to shore up the details on that garage door duo that you got going in and get back in touch with Ms. Carr.
I have one
Miss-
remaining question. Your drawings show a elevator. Is that going to be built originally, or are you going to potentially add it later?
An elevator?
It looks like an elevator.
I think it was that window.
Oh, I had some tables for the second floor so I wouldn't have to carry stuff up the stairs.
But it's, I mean, we can't judge whether or not you have an elevator because that's inside. The question I have, from a code standpoint, if you're up there, how much headroom do you have in that attic space?
Well, I got
Here's
22
the
feet,
deal.
23 feet to work with, so
Most
Probably-
codes do not allow a habitable space, which means it's a place that somebody could live in, with less than half the room having a ceiling height of 7'6".
but
So-
nobody's living up.
I'm sorry?
Nobody's living up there.
Well, but it could change over time. Maybe when you
The
sell the
upstairs,
house.
the upstairs probably be at least minimum 8 feet throughout the whole
Okay.
thing.
And should you change the occupancy and put somebody up there, then you'd have to come back anyway. But it's the 7'6" rule that I'm just cautioning you about.
Yes, sir.
I don't have anything else.
Okay. Thank you.
And Mr. Chairman, I have one other question. Just in the line of being consistent on what we've done in the past on the deferred garage doors, could we do some research on what we've approved in the past? Some come to think that there's been some wood-like doors that were aluminum or metal doors, and I think we may have in the past. Maybe I'm just going brain dead. I don't know, but
Yeah, I hate for Mr. Chambers to have to pay another fee and come back before us if we have in fact approved. And is the issue more color or just material?
Material.
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I think that's the only fair way to go about it, Mr. Becker.
I'm pretty sure we approved a wood-clad metal door in the past. Pretty sure.
I went and took pictures on East Main and other places, and that kind of did the same idea. And I think they use metal doors.
I can't speak. I don't know.
Yeah. It can be tricky. Some things do exist inside the historic zone that would not be approved, but they haven't necessarily been approved by this commission. And so it's kind of hard for us to speak for everything that exists inside the historic zone.
It's newer,
It's newer?
newer buildings. So
Okay,
it's
okay.
kinda-
Well, then I think it would be fair if, like Mr. Becker said, if we could research that so that we can make sure we're being fair to you in this subject.
And you're wanting the ones that are just facing the roadway, because I know some have been approved that are not facing the roadway.
I believe that would only be fair, because front-facing makes a bigger difference inside the
And
district.
how many years back would you like to see this researched?
Well, that's a good question. We only meet a few times a year, so,
Yeah, I mean, it will be in the minutes, the past minutes that we've approved.
I think frankly, if you could get a wood-clad metal door, that it could be administratively approved.
And I would look at it if I can get the actual paperwork on it and verify that it is a wood-clad door. That verbiage is on the actual paperwork.
Mr. Chambers, did you price out a wooden door versus these metal doors and have any, can you
Well,
give us an idea of the difference in the cost?
No, sir, I didn't compare the two wooden, or the garage doors, but obviously I have compared the wooden windows, which is astronomically more expensive. For those two windows that I had to put in the front cost more than all the windows around the whole house times two. It was like, I think I got a bid on the wooden windows for that house, and it was gonna be almost like 36, 40 grand, something crazy. And those windows so tall, they had to be custom made. It was, put the transom on the top. So, I mean, I'd rather go with the metal doors. I think they last longer. I think they look nice. I'm not going to go with cheap metal doors. I haven't done anything cheap on the house, so.
fair.
Yeah, I know we've approved a faux metal wood clad door before. And they were a lot cheaper than the all wood or wood composite, and a lot easier to manage, a lot lighter,
Well, they're more stable.
yeah. And the weight, you know this, you're,
So let me understand. Wood-clad metal doors, is that the same as faux wood metal-clad
yes,
door?
yes.
Do you want to add something?
Yes, in the elevations on the rendering of the exterior of the new garage, it shows a 4-panel window on the right side and the left side, but it doesn't meet the sides of the house, which are 4/4 double hung windows. Will they match those? Maybe smaller or whatever, but are they 4/4? Otherwise, it looks like it's a modern metal window that doesn't move up and down, and it doesn't have the
The
same
windows on
amount
the
of-
side? The windows on the 3 windows on the side of the garage would be, yeah.
Yes.
4/4?
There's one on the other side, and there's 3 on the other side.
Yes, sir. They'll all match.
They'll match? Okay. Sorry, I didn't bring that up before.
It's okay.
Just as, I don't want to beat this horse anymore, but just as clarification to make sure I understand. We have precedent for approving a wood-clad metal door of any color. Am I understand?
We don't approve, we don't
So
give paint.
if he goes with that, Amelia, do you stand by that he has to come back before us?
No, sir.
That can be administratively. Mr. Hankins, you okay with that?
The issue I would have with that is that the motion was for a deferral and not for a conditional approval. So by approving the motion to defer, the board expressly did not make a
Very
decision on
good
that.
point. Very good point.
Can we go back and revise the motion?
Yes, we're still in the same meeting, so, and since everybody voted to approve, well, I guess everyone except Mr. Davis voted to approve the
The
motion, the original motion, then anyone but Mr. Davis could move to reconsider.
Who were the people who made the motions for that?
Deferment, Ashley.
I think I made the first.
So you made the first and Ms. Anderson second.
I seconded.
So can I make a conditional approval? I think you said no.
Yes, no, anybody who voted in favor of the deferral can move to reconsider it. Since Mr. Davis was the
That-
only one who voted
yeah.
no on that,
He
he's
was
the only one
the
who
only no.
can't move.
Jeff, why don't you make the motion?
I can't.
He can't.
Yeah.
Has-
Anybody else can.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm the only one that can't.
Oh,
well, I make the motion to conditionally approve a wood-clad metal door.
garage door.
Okay. We have a,
administrative
Subject to
approval.
staff administrative approval.
With administrative approval.
Very good.
okay, we have a new amended motion on the
I'll
garage
second-
door.
I'll second that motion.
We have a second. Is there any other discussion about this motion? If not, Ashley, Ms. Fulgham, could you call the roll, please?
Ms. Anderson,
Aye.
Mr. Becker,
Aye.
Mr. Salas,
Aye.
Mr. Thompson,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Chair Jakes.
Aye. Okay, the new motion approved. So, Mr. Chambers, if you can come forward to staff with a type of door that we have approved in the past, which would be a metal clad, then they have the right to go ahead and give you administrative approval on that.
A wood-clad metal door.
A wooden clad metal door.
Yes, sir, I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, I think that covers all of the items now for your application. And so,
Staff reports.
do we have any staff reports or other business to discuss today?
I do not have anything at this time.
All right, thank you so much. And we will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Mr. Becker? Mr. Salas? All right,
Thank you, Mr. Chambers.
We don't need to do roll call.
yeah, we're adjourned.
Nah, not for that.